what's up, everyone? Welcome to 5 Minutes of Management. As always, I'm Frank Kalman here with Rick Bell. Rick, what do we got going on right now?
Well, Frank,
Workforce
we
World.
are getting this close to Optimus Awards and naming the Optimus Awards winners. In fact, we are going to name them on November 20th. We had initially decided we were going to do it in December, but because we have so much demand to know who the winners are, we're going to push it up to November 20th. So before Thanksgiving, it's going to be your Thanksgiving treat that we're going to present the Optimus Awards winners. The video will air as part of 5 Minutes of Management,
That's
although
right.
it might run a little bit longer, on November 20th.
Might be 6 minutes.
It could be.
Let's see. So Optimus first, then turkey.
Yes, then turkey, and then mashed potatoes.
Awesome. And then we also have
Workforce Focus.
We have Workforce Focus at the Ritz-Carlton in Boston on November 9th. All-day event. If you're a benefits manager, that's the place to be. We also got Workforce Live Digital Edition on November 19th. So right before the Optimus video comes out, or about the same time, we'll have the digital edition of all 3 cities. So we made stops in Dallas, Chicago, and San Francisco this fall. You're going to get all those talks. Lots of exciting content. So, Rick, what do we got on the news front?
Well, this week, you may know that Walgreens, the big pharmaceutical retailer, bought Rite Aid. And I don't know if there's a whole lot of Rite Aid locations here in the Midwest, but out west there are quite a few and throughout the country. But the big takeaway for me was that Walgreens also got Rite Aid's pharmaceutical benefits management organization too. And so that, there's been so much consolidation with the PBMs and really, the insurance companies as well, that I think that's kind of a takeaway. And so for benefits managers, it's also that question, how are we losing the ability to negotiate better? What's this going to do for our pharmacy costs and spend? Because the PBMs basically act as that middleman between the pharmaceutical companies and the employers. And so it just potentially lessens the amount of organizations that employers can go to for the PBMs.
Interesting stuff. Well, we also got kind of a little bit of an eye-opening report from Glassdoor, Employer Review's website. More specifically, the company's chief economist came out with this research that said that more difficult job interviews actually lead to more satisfied employees. How about that? So you would think that, the harder the job interview is, maybe the more stressful or the more, suppressing a culture might be. But it actually turns out that more difficult job interviews are statistically linked, according to Glassdoor, to higher employee satisfaction across 6 countries: the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, and France. Overall, a 10% more difficult job interview process is associated with a 2.6% higher employee satisfaction rate later on. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it's not that much of a surprise to me. I mean, if you're going to interview hard, then I guess you're going to work hard, but you're going to become more satisfied as well.
Yeah, I guess when you look at it like that, it seems to make sense. So pretty cool stuff. Check out more of that research. So what else we got?
Yeah, and Glassdoor is a pretty cool company. I think, they do some great research, and I think they just have some awesome material.
Yeah, and now that they've got their chief economist kind of fit in the mix, I mean, we're going to have a lot more interesting research coming out from them.
I believe so. Andrew Chamberlain.
Yep, that's it. That's his name.
Good guy. So anyway, one more story for you, Frank. The Cadillac Tax has sort of been on my mind, and I've editorialized, or I've written my column about it, blogged about it a little bit. I just find it interesting because we're seeing that so many small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and even nonprofits can be affected by this Cadillac tax, which essentially is a 40% excise tax that's tied to the Affordable Care Act. But then we have the 3 conservative leaders in the Senate, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Mike Lee, who are coming out and saying that even though there's this broad bipartisan support for repealing the Cadillac tax, that they don't want to repeal the Cadillac tax. Surprisingly enough, they just want the whole Obamacare just wiped out. So it's just like they don't want to repeal the Cadillac tax. It's like the Obamacare, repeal Obamacare or nothing. And I just find that to be personally, I just find it to be a little selfish because I think there's some opportunities to, if you can take away the Cadillac tax, perhaps you can take this part away, and if that's their end game, fine. But I think taking a look at what their constituents want and what they could potentially do for business overall throughout the nation, I think there's a great opportunity here, but I guess that's not going to be.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, 2 out of the 3 of those names are current, presidential candidates.
Yes, they are.
Running on a platform trying to appeal to a certain base of voters. So that's something to keep in mind in terms of evaluating their intentions with that move. But that sounds like a preview of some of the content at Workforce Focus.
I think
Cadillac Tax.
Yes.
ACA administration implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what an event it's going to be.
It's going to be fun and exciting.
Well, that's all we've got for this week's edition of 5 Minutes of Management. For Frank Kalman, we've got Rick Bell. We'll see you guys next week.